Hello and welcome to the End of Slavery Summit. I'm Corey Angelot here with a very special guest, somebody who is, I guess you can say, a spiritual teacher who has a lot of experience, however, with spirituality. And the reason why I say I guess you can say is because he makes it very practical to where the point where I actually really enjoy listening to it. It's not somebody who's like, okay, let's just meditate all day and, find peace with ourselves, but let's actually explore these concepts in detail. He literally has videos on a whole bunch of concepts related to spirituality in detail, and I really appreciate that. He's also an author and a content creator. He's had quite an influence on a number of people, and he picks apart words. He really breaks down concepts and even has courses for individuals. So I greatly appreciate his presence. He even does counseling now, and he really, just like I said, brings spirituality into a practical sense. And I like the fact he just tells it like it is. Not a lot of people are willing to do that in the spiritual realm always. They want to give you what makes you feel good. And maybe not everything is what makes you feel good. That being said, maybe there are aspects that can make us feel good while we still learn the truth to our world, while we still realize that there are bad things that are present. And so we're going to kind of break this down and realize, what do we have to do to move toward the future? And Tobias here, Tobias Lars, is my guest, is going to kind of guide us through what we need to do with what he calls re-evolution. Thank you, Tobias Lars, for joining me. Your website is TobiasLars.com. That's TobiasLars.com. And he's also got a bunch of t-shirts, which are really cool. You even have traveling sessions. Over the years, you were traveling with people. You had spiritualtravelers.com. It redirects people to your website where you did all sorts of things with unique adventures with wild dolphins and wild horses and manatees and wolves, walking with elephants, hot springs, healing retreats, and ayahuasca shaman adventures. I mean, that sounds incredible. You've done quite a bit, and I'm glad that you've met a lot of individuals, and I'm glad to connect with you and your works. So introduce a little bit more about yourself and kind of help us dive into what this term re-evolution means. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me here. I've been kind of quiet the last few years because, and by the way, the spiritualtravelers.com, that was, yes, it started a few years ago when I realized I'm done with doing anything I don't want to do, right? Which is sort of saying a big no to whatever our programming is, our culture. First four letters of culture is cult. So every culture on earth has always been an enculturation. You get programmed, whether it's by churchism or just your well-meaning parents usually, or massive trauma with your parents. That'll help activate a lot of things. But yeah, school, obviously, government, any religionism will tend to format who we are. We get programmed by all this stuff. And so at a certain point on this real awakening, that's really, have you noticed lately that on Earth lately, it's accelerating? I mean, every day, if you check in anywhere globally, there's massive stuff going on. Even though NBC, ABC, CBS, CNN, Fox News, CNN, etc., they won't report on any of this because we're obsessed with being angry at daddy. In this case, pick Trump or Biden, or angry at Pelosi or whatever. Pick your own. I used to call them Tweedledum and Tweedledummer, the bipolar game of, really, you can divide a whole country into this candidate versus that candidate. I mean, it's insane, right? But that's still where we're at, and we're just starting to come out of it. So anyway, years ago, I decided I just want to do what I want to do. Instead of trying to push things on, you ought to do this, you ought to eat this way, you ought to think this way, you ought to get unhooked from the matrix. That's sort of still ought to's, right? Which is okay. But I was done to being the ought to person. You ought to do yoga. I'm a Kriyaban with Yogananda's organization, Self-Realization Fellowship. La di frickin' da. You with me? But that stuff's incredibly real. Shiva is, I've met Shiva. We all meet all kinds of entities all the time. Now, outer revolution usually is just sort of cycling of the same stuff. Like, we get to be in charge now, you dumb men from the feminist side. No, 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 no. We get to be in charge now, you dumb women. You ran the whole thing into the. Am I allowed to swear, by the way? I don't know.
Yes.
All right. You ran the whole damn thing into the fucking ground. So we're going to run it now. So you have a cycling of polar slit in the middle of the brain, mind, left, right, hemisphere, up, above, down, below, 3 chakras above. Hi, I'm a college professor. Or a super yogi, that's jnana yoga. It becomes mental only. Or lower chakras, or first 3 chakras, physical. Magicians, Houdinis, athletes, shamans work with the first 3 chakras, and in the middle of it all is the heart. First 3, now there's more than 7 chakras. And we can argue about that. No, there's 108, there's 112, there's 40, there's a black chakra. Yeah, it's all true. But traditionally, there's 7 churches, 7 chakras, whether you're learning from Inca shamans or Shiva lineage like Sadhguru or Yogananda or whoever. And by the way, like Eckhart Tolle says, and I'm coming at it from a spiritual side. I've spent lifetimes chopping heads off. With me? Doing physical revolutions. I played both sides when the Rome went on for 1,200 years. So if you're a soul on Earth and you've been here a while, not good or bad. If you've just landed, awesome, you're in for a ride. If you've been here since the beginning, yeah, interesting. But in Rome, I played both against the empire, kind of like Star Wars, but and with the empire. I love Gladiator. We've all lived Roman times. You have to be absolutely blind, deaf, and dumb not to notice that we're cycling another civilization right now. A friend of mine and I said 4 or 5 years ago, I said, we should start selling Nero fiddles. If you don't remember, Nero was the guy that's traditionally represented as playing the fiddle while Rome is being sacked by the barbarians and being burnt to the ground. Nero's fiddle. Look it up if you don't remember that one. So we're currently obviously recycling something on Earth that looks terrifying. It's all coming apart. Fauci is being called out by Robert Kennedy Jr. He's written a big book with a black thing that says the real, I think it's called the real Fauci or something. That's a brave soul, right? Now his own family, some of them are disowning him for that. So my main work with people is to not only the outer wake up, you need to learn about cabals and, I've been doing this for, this lifetime, 35 years, right? But I joke 3,000 lifetimes, and then God knows when other planets and planetary systems and all that. But yeah, there's been horrible stuff going on Earth, Once you hear about chambers underneath the Vatican where they're doing rituals with children and blood and adrenochrome and all that, yeah. Yes. Now, if that hooks you enough that you're going to pick up arms and go fight the police, they're going to get you. Okay? The passion isn't, you got to get outraged because there's no other way to get the rage out. The very word outrage is indicating you need to get your rage out of you, or else you're going to be able to be played and easily start wearing masks. And I'm going to be a little spiritually incorrect here. And you're going to have little Napoleonic complex dudes that are 5'4" that never could put a fucking basketball in the basket and can't even throw a baseball, fake out whole nations and cultures. and you're going to wear your dutiful masks. And I know I've had COVID, by the way, supposedly. I've been through a kidney transplant. You don't want to, if you set yourself up as us versus them, now you got to learn to discern. I'm going to do a lot of this random access kind of, but you got to listen with your heart and your belly, not just this. Mind, yeah, it's good. But once you wake up in the mind, you got to incorporate it, which means come on down the highway to your throat, your third eye, your heart, your belly, your sex chakra, your muladhara, your rectum chakra, and there's a black chakra between your knees, which showed up once when I was giving a talk in Prescott, like, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago. Black chakra just showed up between my knees. Now, that's not usually even talked about. So, and none of that matters. Jesus simplified it. Look, you got to love, right? Love people, call out the bullshit, love yourself, and get real to heal. This is the real teaching, So that's mainly been my work. And I am going back to doing a few. I just started, like literally 2-3 weeks ago, doing personal sessions. I'm not advertising it. I'm not putting it out there. But I do. Because you may know all this stuff, see all the cabal shenanigans. Yes, of course, the whole UFO thing and all that, and multiple races, and Pleiadians, and Andromedans, and Syrians, and Arcturians, etc., and etc., Targetans, and blah, 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 right? All true, in my opinion. I've had my own daytime, full-on, undeniable, not lost in amnesia, which happens to a lot of humans. You've had this experience, most of us, right? You have a beautiful opening one night with a group of friends, and the next day, like, half the people are like, I don't know what you're talking about. If you were under some spiritual opening influence, not talking drugs. And then a few years later, everyone remembers different things. We're continually readjusting what we think is true by our current momentum. So if you insist on truth, you're going to lock yourself inside some box. You with me? This is the way it is. For you at this time, it's a flat earth, it's a round earth. I mean, that's crazy shit that's coming out nowadays, right? But if you're getting into an argument where that divides you, you're going to miss out on stuff. Because the bigger holding space, and you can't get lost in this. You got to keep it real and go, hey, I don't know about that, but I'm not arrogant enough to pronounce that you're deluded to someone else. That's pretty arrogant. Say what you feel and what you experience, or have the guts and the balls to say, I'm being a little harsh here today, I know how to play and be very nice and make sure everybody's safe and they feel really good and namaste and all that stuff, which is true, and that's sincere. But at this time, we're going to get shock therapy. You're going to have, what happened to those people, 600 people that got shot in Las Vegas? What was that, 2-3 years ago, 4 years ago? Don't everybody forgot about that. That's a huge happening. So the shocks will keep on coming for the clean out that's going on right now, which is the difference between what we're consciously aware of and the 9/10 of the iceberg, which is in our subconscious. On the road to awakening, you start to be able to not need as much sleep because you're starting to reintegrate all the parts of you. Or dreaming and awakeness is that famous saying, Chang Tzu fell asleep and didn't know if he was a butterfly dreaming he was a human, or a human dreaming he was a butterfly. I know it's poetic stuff, but we don't know. And is that a real dream, or what is that? And this is, the boundaries are going to start melting right now. They already are. Multiple realities are happening for many of my friends, including me. And learning to navigate these times, because the old facade Some people say, oh, there's a moon base and they're psychically controlling people. It started 12,500 years ago, you know, during the flood. Yeah, maybe. There's probably some truth to that. But if you get caught up in that, in the wrong place, trying to explain that to your parents or something, and they're not on it, they're going to worry about you and report you to the psychiatrist, right? So learning to navigate in these undoing times is what I help people do. My clients are people that I literally had a client just started back up like 3 weeks ago from Toronto, and the first 20 minutes he's just sobbing because it needs to clean itself out, you know. Another, I got a, you know, hundreds of ex-clients and so forth. Ex-army guy from New Zealand dealing with ancient, and he's a white guy, but he's got a Maori, you know, the Maoris live down in the Fiji and New Zealand, and they're the Haka guys, you know, that they do, which is beautiful stuff. And but he's just terrified of having been in the army, black magic shit, possessed in his lineage, because everyone think you can interrupt me anytime you want. I've done 50 ayahuasca ceremonies. I've taken people for years up to Hopi land. Hopi is the ancient tribe in America that's been here the longest. The Navajos are Johnny come latelys. They might have come across the land bridge, but there were people already here. There's much older history on Earth, you know, than what we've been told. Obviously, Columbus wasn't the first guy in America. There's tons of other people that were here. But so I spent a lot of time in Hopi and with the Inca shamans and the ancient shamans, the guys with the tall heads that were down in Peru and who they worship as gods. All that stuff's real. It's real stuff. And knowing about it a little bit with your mind is not the same as feeling it in your chakras, in your body, multiple dimensions. Where's this coming from? Giant snakes and spiders and half wolves and beautiful angels, and there's Shiva and there's Christ, Jesus. And actually living that is very different than starting to, even if you're reborn here, which a lot of us are, and you already know innate things, like you can smell, that's not right. That's BS. I'm being lied to. But that's not the same. Like if you're not foolable by the scamdemic, I mean, come on, this is ridiculous, right? I just saw Russell Brand today. I like Russell. I wish he would just fucking slow down a little bit. But you know, I know, but your normal talking voice would be nicer, in my opinion. Anyway, right? Or who's the other guy? Luke from We Are Change. I love Luke.
He's
Awesome.
great.
But settle down, man. Just breathe with your dog. You know, just take a moment. But I understand that's what we need in different arenas. I'm just putting in my little vote. But he just had a video today, Russell Brand, of "We Were Scammed." He just put the title up there. We were scammed, and it's about the COVID thing, you know, which obviously is whatever that is. That's a strange one, you know, and everyone has all kinds of experiences with it. And I told my girlfriend, and she grew up. My girlfriend, we've been together a long time, which is ridiculous. It's like I'm always like, yeah, maybe, hopefully it'll end tomorrow. You know, we're in public. I'll joke with her. But anyway, she grew up normal, programmed American cult Christian. With me? One of the 30,500 Christian cults. You know, right?
Yeah.
Jesus comes along and goes, hey, let's not do cults. Oh, damn it, we're doing cults again. All right, we're gonna deal with this. But so it's intense for her to be with me because I had zero religious programming as a child. I grew up in Sweden, which is sort of like, yeah, okay, but there's a few crazy people that are Holy Ghost and filled, but most people are like, well, yeah, it's a nice thing. It keeps people morally correct, but we're not, no one's fanatic about religion, you know. But in Southern America and parts of America, we have fanatic Christians, you know. And so Joy, I forgot what I was going to tell you about that. By the way, if you lose your thread sometimes, it doesn't mean you're losing your shit. It means you're starting to access multiple parts of yourself. A lot of at this time for people will go, oh, I forgot what we're talking about. Good. Because this dead air thing about you can never have dead air on the radio, that's manic. That's mentally obsessive. That's TV media personalities. Do you like most of them? No. They're so obviously programmed, right?
Mm.
I've been saying that for 30 years to Joy. Back then, I used to make up the shit about, I used to call it the, what do we need this year? It's 25 years ago. I go, we need the swine, bird, dinosaur, flu. That's it. We need to mix them all together. And she used to fucking get mad at me for that, right? But some of us see this stuff early. And
Mm.
usually the early ones are made fun of or literally crucified, So now it's getting better and more crazy, right?
Yeah.
You can have full on, I'm sorry, at the Super Bowl, I just watched it. Dr. Dre, I remember listening to him and Snoop 30 years ago for the Chronic, way back. Now they're on the Super Bowl with Eminem, For you, that's probably just normal. But that's a huge shift in the last 30 years.
Yeah, well, you've lived longer than me to see all these things, and
Yeah.
you can probably make more predictions based on your experiences and the awarenesses that you've had. So, Russell Brand is another individual who many may consider so-called spiritual, but yet he's speaking up about the system and talking about how bad it is. And isn't that interesting? Like a lot of spiritual individuals nowadays are spiritual in the sense of like, yeah, we should have peace within ourselves, but then they also say, well, we need to take action. Isn't that interesting? Because there's a lot of spiritual texts that say, hey, don't take much action, just meditate, just relax. But then now it seems like we kind of need action because how could people practice spirituality if they're being forced under certain mandates to not conduct their practices or not be able to be spiritual? I mean, what are the spiritual people supposed to do about that? Are they going to meditate alone or no longer in groups? I mean, they have at some point in time, do they have to get rid of the systems that are directly destroying the spirit of the population?
Exactly. And this is where the the old traditional thing was. It comes from Vedanta and Sanskrit and Shiva. She's a picture of Shiva over here for me. And where basically you would have phases in the old Indian system, right? Where you were a young man and you were a family man. And towards the end of your life, you would retire from everything, give all your money, you would become a wandering sadhu, meditate, give up your name. You forgot if you were on a sincere spiritual path, right? So that old system has been so powerful in the human collective, right? That all you got to do is get dressed. You can see it all over. Now I loved Yogananda when I was 19 and a sophomore at the University of Connecticut. I had to go to a state school because we moved from Sweden, and in Sweden there's free education. And even though, I had my scholarship gentleman who was helped start Hartford University, and he wanted to get me to Yale, and they let me in, and they wanted me to go to these schools. But no, it wasn't for me to do. But I like that. I get erased. I do like it. I really do. But yes, you need to do both things. So
Mhm.
one of those traditions you can dress up as a guru, right? Where's my scarf? I probably have it around here. It's like a saffron scarf. I should fucking wear it for you. You know? And I was standing in Hawaii after one of our go swim with the dolphins. How new agey, go swim with the dolphins, right? But that's a real visceral experience.
Mhm.
Dolphins aren't namby-pamby. They will occasionally kill sharks and other dolphins. Hello. It's a miracle that orcas don't kill fucking humans, right? But they don't because
Mm.
they operate in the whales. That's the cetacean thing is very different. Anyway, we've just been swimming with the dolphins. I had a group there on the big island of Hawaii. And as I'm leaving, there's a beautiful ochre, which is that yellow, looks like turmeric color sort of scarf, It's very, that all the Tibetan monks who wear that shit and all the Hindus. Now, I'm not making fun of them, you understand? Sai Baba is one of my teachers, real miracle guy. I know this is far out. If you're only coming from revolution and enslavement and, I love Michael Tsarian, fucking love that guy. That's truth telling. He's willing to tell it. The female Illuminati, as soon as he says that, everybody's going to get angry at him, right? Because we should worship the goddess, not the female gets a buy automatically by what? Having a holy yoni, a pussy, a cunt? That makes her somehow sacred? No. Some of the most manipulative shit that's ever happened on this planet has been by the female. We know that patriarchy is horrible when it's out of control, you know, dumb patriarchy controlling under my thumb, right? Of course, it's horrible, right? We got that. But you fucking women are fucking players and liars and scammers and yak in your fucking covens. It takes two to tango to create this mess. I read a book 30 some years ago. It's called When God Was a Woman, written by a female professor. See, if a man wrote it, no, you're evil. Right? But it was a female professor. And she was just doing it intellectually, which I understand. You know, my dad was a nuclear physicist, actually world famous. You know, he did the shit trying to do peaceful things for this planet, which he was paying for his stuff they did in Atlantis. We blew up a continent on this planet by misusing certain powers. You know, there's a long story to all that. But the feminine is going to have to own up to its bullshit too. Men are going to have to own up to their bullshit. Women are going to have to own up to their bullshit. For example, if you're just a nice guy, I won't get hot for you. I won't get turned on. But I get turned on by the bad guy that treats me like shit. Now, 85% of the women are like that. I know this is going to threaten some boundaries, but this is why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And so 85% of the women are going to have to get real with their shit. Oh, I'll date the basketball player because he's tall and he's black and he's got a big dick. Right? And then when he leaves me, I'll be all crushed. And I'll use the nice guy to take care of me. So that whole game going on, men going their own way, all that stuff, all of these things are going to boil up. Money worship. Let's get real. What's America worship? Fucking money. Fucking money. Right? And pussy and Prada shoes. And
politics?
yeah, obviously we're stuck in that game, right? It's ridiculous, right? If you still believe that Biden is anywhere conscious at all, you are so lost. You know, you're going to have to wake up. It's not going to be fun. But luckily, this is what I say. When I say God, I don't mean any programmed religious God. I mean the universe God. He's very personal, and she is God Mother. That's real too. And God Father is real. And God neutral, beyond sexes, who created sexes. Obviously not something sexual did not create sex. To create sex, you have to be something bigger than sex. That's logic right now, but just feel it for a second, right? Duh. Whoever or whatever created sex is not bound or caught up in sex only. It's usually hermaphroditic, like Shiva here. He's Shiva and Parvati, or Christ and Mother and Mary Magdalene. Most Christians can't even handle that Christ had a female partner. The Merovingian, Charlemagne, all that stuff. So all these things are going to be coming to light now. So both, yes, back to your thing, which I love. You need to do outer, like I've been posting this young man, I think he's from Thailand or Saigon, not Saigon, Singapore or something. And his YouTube channel is called Daily Hot, DAILY, capital H, capital O, capital T, Daily Hot. Speaks with a, Oriental accent, young kid, but he's really showing up how in 27 countries around the world, the farmers are starting to go, no, you cannot dictate to us what we do with the land, because they're basically going to steal land back from them, right? And he's posting that. MSN, BC, CNN, Fox, nothing, crickets. No, nobody's reporting on this in America at all. But if you start watching a little bit around the planet, there are places. There's even a place in Great Britain. You probably know more about it than me, but that's starting to report alternative news, So there's a huge awakening in every arena. Now, if you go to Hopi land and visit the Incas. We were in the Sacred Valley. I mean, we were on holy ground from the ancient Incas. Mike had acquired literally the shaman's getaway place. The Inca shamans, before whoever, I forget who it was that arrived in South America. Cortez? I may have that wrong. I can't remember. I don't think it was. He was in Mexico. But this is the place the shamans used to go. They built their own waterfall, over 1,000 years old, gorgeous place. Mike, who's from Wisconsin, he's a German, he's a white guy, he's half Swedish. Oh, he must be evil patriarchy because he's a white guy. Get off it. We're fucking sick of that shit. Now I'm
Mm.
expressing honestly a little bit. I can do a lot more. The feeling, because unless you get real to heal, without the guns and the knives and without actual fucking bloodletting, then you'll just have to do it again, basically. If you start slitting each other's throats, it continues the savage cycle of murder and getting murdered again. So, but you need to learn to get real to heal, which is in personal relationships. You start, having love, making love, right? Which, yes, and from heart, not just fucking, not just swinging, not just polyamory in the new age circles. And I've been through all that. You with me?
Yeah.
All of those things are going to fail. Like a friend of mine, she's a psycho old witch. I call the women witches because in my book, it's a good thing, right? If you've not been a witch as a woman on this planet, you haven't really lived yet. You have got to own the medicine woman. If you're a female, you've got to own that part of yourself. But she calls it the new cage movement instead of new age.
Hmm.
Because a lot of that shit will also get co-opted. Do you understand? Just like the green shit will turn into climate control and Klaus Schwab telling you you're only allowed to have one paper bag or, one cloth bag for the rest of your life. Of course, we shouldn't be doing plastic. That's stupid. But all of these things are going to be coming to light now. The next few years, maybe we'll have a giant financial crash. Could happen. Or we could go totally Bitcoin, crypto, or others, or we could be trading tomatoes. I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We don't know right now. I think Shiva knows. I think Sai Baba knows. If you haven't heard of Sai Baba, don't freak out. Look him up. He'll freak you out. If you've never dealt with spiritual stuff from India and the old avatar system, you go, oh, that's fake. I challenge you to not be so fucking prejudiced and judgmental. I'm provoking a little bit. Because, you don't want to be as judgmental as what you've seen with the old system, do you?
Yeah.
I'll say it again. You don't want to be as prejudiced and judgmental as you've seen the old system has been, right?
Isn't it
No.
funny? Like, you know, spirituality is supposed to be about openness and acceptance. And yet, with these so called harsh views or intolerant views, some people who are so called spiritual may not be able to tolerate, be like, oh, well, that's off putting. That's not spiritual. Well, if you call yourself spiritual, why aren't you open to the negative ideas or the anger that you're expressing, right? You're kind of like saying that anger is a necessary expression or you need to express it if you have it inside you, right? Is that sort of what you're
Totally.
saying?
Totally. Like if you notice I'm missing a tooth, this is a cardinal sin in America. We make fun of English people having bad teeth because we're image worshippers. Look at my fake tits and my fake blonde hair. Yes, I'm getting it fixed because I'm living in fucking America. I get it. But because this is part of kidney stuff and I had to do it. If you go on the real spiritual path, it's not Oprah. I'm sorry. Okay. And by the way, I love Oprah. See, here's the thing people don't get. You can criticize or point out. Now, I'm being a little harsh, but I don't know exactly where this is going, but it feels like you guys are willing to be a little bit, shove it in their face, right?
It does.
And so Oprah's done incredible work for the planet. She's not a blood-drinking fucking adrenochrome cabal member. I'm sorry, folks. That's what I call hyper-conspiracy. Now, you may disagree with me, but that's okay. It's okay to disagree. Because otherwise, oh, you're getting hooked into the bipolars turn one, divided and conquered and set them against each other. That's no better than demon publicans democrats and blood publicans. I'm red. Well, you're dumb. You're one track. Well, I'm blue. Well, you're equally fucking dumb. Because God is supporting, assisting, helping source the Tao, call it what you will, doesn't take sides. I think Osho might have said, he said, God doesn't take sides. He's on everyone's side. Yeah, I participate. That's your question. Do you fucking participate? Or do you go, close your eyes. You put everyone to fucking sleep. Most of the Course of Awakenings I used to do, that's what I called it. I let that URL slide. I'm doing something called Full Spectrum Humans now, which I may start doing publicly again. People at certain points during our course, when I would work on the inner body awakening, which is a process that I use with people to try to get people to fucking feel their bodies. Most people are running and rushing around with their mind spinning only. I get up in the morning and I'm checking my TikTok and my messages. That's all I do. And I immediately plug in my phone. What about your heart? Let me feel it. Put your hand on your heart. Put your hand on your belly. Loosen your shoulders. One full conscious breath. I'm not quite doing it right now because we're a little, stirred up right now. But so we need both outer activity and inner refilling, inner connecting. Now, humans have been given total gifts of natural kundalini, all right, life force, whatever that electricity is in your spinal column. Like your dog, watch a puppy. They're not meditating, but they're full of life force. Or your dogs, until they get towards the last 2 years of their life, they're pretty enthusiastic about life. They don't bitch and complain about shit. I gotta go to my therapist like Howard Stern for 25 years and talk about my anal fissures. And I love Howard Stern. This is what people don't get. I love Oprah. I really do. I love Howard Stern. He's an annoying fucking half Jew from fucking wherever he grew up, Manhattan or Brooklyn or something, right? But he used to love Butt Bongo Fiesta. Come on, that's funny. And if you're too spiritual, yeah, that's what maybe some of your crowd reacts against. Fucking navel gazers. Fuck you. You're just not helping the planet at all. I totally agree. So real teachers like Krishna or Christ or Sai Baba, he built more hospitals and schools in India for the poor people, trying to take care of them, than all the fucking government in all of India. He built $100 million super specialty hospital. He raised all the people just gave him money. He didn't ask for it ever. There's no telethon to give me money. There's no begging involved.
Yeah.
You with me?
Yeah.
Charging is fine. Making a lot of money is great. Sadhguru's got tons of money. He's got no problems. But he's not asking people to do it. They do it out of the automatic uprising of love and willingness in their being. Don't forget to contribute this weekend. We're going to do the yearly telethon for the church. No! But yes, maybe. You see, it's all in the moment. It's all God. It's all good. 89.5% of it is shit. We agree. Human programming sucks. Financial, medical, education, romance, really? How successful is our current romance love program on Earth? Really? Who do you know that didn't force themselves to shut their sex down to stay together for 50 years, you know, with my colostomy bag? Is that successful romance? No. What does that look like? We don't even know yet. Let's try polyamory. And the women are like, oh, I don't really want to do it yet. Or I do because I'm possessed by some fucking thing that's not really part of me, some entity succubus shit. And they get talked into it before they're ready. I used to warn I did that. I'm there now. I'm there now. But at a certain stage in your evolution, you do not do polyamory. You'll get eaten by entities you don't know what you're fucking dealing with. Most of shamanism, everyone's like, and I've been there. I'm speaking from experience. I did 50 ayahuasca ceremonies, okay? That's not going once to do 5 of them at some retreat in Costa Rica. You with me? And I'm not making fun of that. It's beautiful. But so I'm speaking from experience. I'm not arrogant. I'm not ego about it. I'm just being truthful about it. I spent time on Hopi multiple times dealing with the black magic part of it. Because most white people go, oh, they have rattles and feathers and drums. They're shamans. I can open myself totally to them. You're going to get fucked over. They're going to steal your money and fuck you if you're a woman. 85% of the shamans will fuck you over. You have to learn. Here it is. You can get, I don't sell t-shirts, but I got an artist friend, ex-punk guy who I love. He's just sort of rebel, meaning wherever the truth comes from. Is it Candace Owens? Great. Is it Ram Dass? Is it whoever? I'm trying to pick polar opposites here a little bit. Tucker Carlson will drive everybody nuts because he wears his little fucking bow tie, or used to. But there's some truth coming from him. Are you big enough to be willing to listen to that? No, he's an evil fucking fox, white guy, patriarchy. Really? You fucking wrote yourself off right there. Or you think you're so fucking holy, let's reject all of it. I'm just going to grow my own garden and buy 40 acres in Tennessee with 20 of my friends. And we'll try to all fuck each other and it'll all fall apart because we don't know how to what? Get real to heal. Get real to heal is what Jesus taught. Now, most humans, they're not ready for that. But there's a huge wave right now on Earth of people like yourselves. And I'm surmising, but I'm feeling. Or Michael Tsarian, or David Icke was a forerunner, or Jordan Maxwell. Do you know these guys?
Yes.
Yeah. Jordan Maxwell's a good friend of one of my best friends. For a while, we had to take care of him up in Flagstaff, help him out. Jordan's
Amazing work.
going
Tons
through
of work.
Yeah, going through shit. But he was the instigator, his ET meeting with the people in the 50s and 60s with ET racists. He met ET young girls and their parents. They lived north of Pasadena in underground places. They were hiding there for a while. Jordan Maxwell talks about this openly. I know I'm pushing a lot, but you know what? At this point, that's what I'm doing.
That's fine.
Right? No, I'm just saying to the world too. Yeah, because I just posted this. I'm back on Facebook. Oh no, Facebook is a CIA operation just to mine data from you guys. Okay, maybe, but you know what? So what? Let them think they know who you are, but don't fight them. Jesus, what's that you're saying? Let them think they got one over on you? If you stand up against the cabal too soon, you will lose. Say it, like David Icke. That was his job. So they would call him and go, look, you fuck, we're going to take you out unless you stop talking about this shit. He talks about this openly, I'm sure. Now he's shut off, of course. Can't appear on YouTube, or I don't know where they have him now, on BitChute or whatever, right?
His own website.
His own website, yeah. Joy and I went to see him. He was here in Phoenix, I don't know, 20 years ago at the Orpheum Theater, this old 50s, 60s beautiful theater, you know, for the day. But anyway, unless it's your job to be an exposer of shit, you need to be you need to have protection. David Icke was protected. When they called him and said, we're going to take you out, he said, where? I'll meet you there. And he said, I went there, nobody showed up. That's his job. But if that's not your job, don't be like David Icke unless it's your mandate. Feel the difference? Learn to discern. There's a right time for total truth telling in their face. And there's a right time to appear normal. I don't know if you know who Sadhguru is, but he's an Indian guy, yeah.
I do.
Who lately is doing huge work in the world. But he's meeting with people at the, what do they call it? The World Economic Forum, and he said take vaccines. He's got to be part of the cabal. No, you don't know how to learn to discern the deeper stuff.
Right. It's not up to them. It's up to you. Not just the guru for all your information or for, oh, please give me the life wisdom. But no, the whole life wisdom is not coming from this one person or this one institution or this one politician, right? I mean, and that's what I think my works and a lot of other people like Mark Passio and David Icke, and they also consider themselves spiritual. We're talking about is like government and politics, which a lot of spiritual gurus will not talk about, right? They don't want to go into like, is government legitimate by spiritual principles?
Right.
Like, can you apply morality the same way you do with all your other talks and apply it to government and politics? Or is it too much of a line you don't want to cross because it's too dangerous?
And I agree, the word government, of course, as you know, govern your mentality, govern your mentation, your mental processes. Government is literally mind control. That's what the word means. Hello. The words will reveal themselves if you know how to feel behind languages. The Tower of Babel is an interesting story. I was not raised with any of it, so I don't have any programming about Christianity. But there's a place before language and beyond languaging. How do you talk to your dog? All right, they condescend to learn a few human words because, whatever. But the cats are like, no, I don't care what you call me. I'm not playing that game, right? I don't need a name. So part of us are at this time, as the veils will be coming apart, there's tons of suffering right now. Pain, suffering. A lot of young souls who already know what you came in for. You guys will be all right. But others are going to be like, I can't take it. I'm checking out, which it's always been that way. I mean, 80 years is like basically a fallen, fucked up, crashed chakra system. I'll say it again. Living 80 years is a fallen, desecrated, crashed chakra system, semi-automaton, zombie human. Living 80 years, you're a zombie fucking human. Oh. And if someone makes it to 100, we celebrate their crepit old body. That's fucking psychotic. Feel that? Where we're meant to literally, hello Shiva, hello Jesus, hello Babaji, hello Krishna, Buddha. I think Yogananda was able to too. They're literally able to resurrect their bodies. Most people go, it's not possible. Right? That's how far away we are as humans from what's actually the reality and potential. So there's a bunch of us speaking up about it. And at this time, it's getting loose enough that I don't know if I'm having huge spiritual stuff happening. Like traveling. Literally, I've spent time laying here. I sleep here at night sometimes. And seeing I'm up in another dimension. We've all had multiple spiritual experiences, by the way. And as you start the expansion, what if we call it, instead of ascending, sending my ass skywards. I'm making fun on purpose because we're so stuck in these old things, right? But instead
Mhm.
of calling it ascending, the ascension, the Holy Church of the Revelatory Ascension. No, instead of that old stuff, I call it descension.
Mm.
You need to descend full spirit into the 3D.
Yeah.
And be able to walk on water because gravity has no hold on you anymore.
Right.
That's real. That's real.
Yeah.
Your picture disappeared, in case you want to know. But
It's all good.
so the new thing is, and not everyone's going to wake up. One of the things that can really hook you and break your heart is thinking that everyone who is in a physical flesh carny body at this time, carne means flesh, beef, I love the carne asada, incarnation, not all incarnation at this time is all of a sudden magically going to wake up and be able to turn their bodies to light. If you're some new cage person thinking we're going to wake everyone up so they can all become Christs in the next 5 years? I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong. God's the big cheese. I'm like, I know a little more than some people, but, I don't think the whole mass of 8.5 billion is going to turn into light.
Hmm.
But a big chunk of us are. Maybe 15% of 8 billion is what? 1.2 billion?
Isn't every evolution caused by just 1% of the population?
I used to say all we need is 1,000 Buddhas,
Hmm.
1,000 fully awake Christs, and the whole thing shifts.
Well, the Buddha
Well,
said too, like we're all Buddhas, right?
potentially,
Can be, right?
eventually, a part of us, yes. Is it actualized? I just posted this today. Theory land is worse than fucking Legoland. I didn't use Legoland, but theory land is one thing. It's from Yogananda. He says theory is great, and that's true, but that's very different than a Christ or a Buddha or a Yogananda, and various Don Juan of Carlos Castaneda. I mean, they were able to turn their bodies into light and play with time and space. So those are the people I'm interested in, and I'm totally into helping people who are seeing through the programming and they know they need to come out of it. And that's my expertise with helping with personal evolution, because that's what I've been doing for 3,000 life, God knows how long, 30 years of this lifetime. And I grew up inside all of it. I went to public private school. They call it, in England, public school means you're in a private school. All the little caps, Angus Young from, Highway to Hell, right? Remember the little cap he wears, right? You know what I mean? That's an English schoolboy uniform, those little shorts, right? I wore those when I was 3, 4, and 5 years old in England. I went to a school in England. So I went through the whole programming as a Western Swedish, mind caught, upper chakra being. That's why I had to do 50 ayahuasca journeys. And it's not automatic just because you're black. Now, see, this is fucking touching the thing you're not supposed to talk about, but I think you guys are okay with it. Just because you're black doesn't mean you're fucking evolved. Just because you're a shaman from Hopi doesn't mean you're all fucking evolved either.
Right.
Some people need to activate their upper chakras or their last 3 chakras. See? The first 3 chakras, some souls need to activate. If you want to become a full chakra activated, full spectrum. Thank you, Pink Floyd. Remember the triangle and the colors? All the colors bleed into one human being. What? That's how it works. No, I'm only going to be the top 3 colors. How's that going to work for you? How much multiple sclerosis are you going to have to go through? No, I just want to be the lower 3 colors. Oh, What's the prevalent disease that black people get? Sickle cell anemia. They're not fully fucking balanced just because you're black. No. Yes, you're better in the physical. Oh, no, we're all created equal. No, you're not. You have equal potential. A black Christ or a lily white Finnish Christ. Finnish people are the whitest fucking people on earth. You with me?
Yeah.
So we're all here. Those are the people I'm interested in to work with and be with, and it's my own journey. And that's what I'm interested in, because the rest of the shit, as you're all noticing, is falling apart rapidly.
Yeah.
It
So
could be a financial crisis this next few months. We'll see what happens.
yeah, I mean, wouldn't you say it's sad that we live in a world that we don't know what's going to happen? Because it means that it's out of our control. We've given it away, or we've lost
Ah,
our own control. And I think that just tells you of society. The fact that there's confusion within itself tells you the state of the mentality of the people within that society. But let's talk about that. So, you mentioned inner and outer revolution, and you say that without that personal inner re-evolution, there can be no real progress for humanity. But you also say, as well as outer revolution. So, re-evolution, try to get clear on what our goals are and such. What is this outer revolution? Like, what's required for that? Because often we hear from spiritual gurus like, oh, you got to look in yourself, you got to think about things. And a lot of our speakers on the summit, this event we have here talking about the end of slavery, a lot of them are talking about how in order to free your mind, you have to go through yourself. So, what would you have to say is the outer work?
don't watch CNN
Hmm.
or learn, or Fox or any of it,
Right.
or get conscious. But if you're still hookable, if you don't know how to filter, if you don't know how to remain semi-conscious, you're not going to be fully conscious right away. Some detox, like I was a vegetarian for years, but I just posted a video of a guy named Sverige. Sverige is the name for Sweden, how you say Sweden in Swedish. Sverige. S-V-E, but he uses a 3 instead of the E.
I know his content. Yeah.
R-I-G-E. Now he got so fucked over by the vegan crapola. He
Hmm.
tried it. It's a fucking Swede like me. We're like sincere. We're gonna do it. We're not like, oh yeah, it sounds good. No, we're gonna do it. So he did it, and he fucking almost killed himself. Like from what I gather, emaciated, vitamin D, B12 loss, all that crap, right? And then he swung the other way, and now he ate like straight meat for 4 or 6 years, and he got
Raw meat.
healthy. Raw meat, actually uncooked meat. Yeah. One of my friends who attends, we have a quiet seminar that I don't advertise usually, and I'm stopping doing it so I can say it now. I might be doing something public that I'll call Full Spectrum Humans. We'll see. Maybe not. Um, but we have something we call the no thing, nothing, where we hang out. And if you have any fucking agenda, fail, gong, out of here, right? If you have any like know-it-all shit where you think you know everything, bye-bye. We don't do it, but the space itself you'll get so frustrated, you'll want to leave. And also most humans are not ready for the no thing, like Nityananda was Swami Muktananda's teacher. And most people don't know this. Swami Muktananda was the guy who created the Siddha organization. He did Shaktipat. Shaktipat is like no fucking talking. And he would just hit you with energies that would activate your own energies. Okay, that's called Shaktipat. That's an ancient yoga. Jesus did that. What do you think he did when he touched people? What happened to Paul on the road to Damascus? He got knocked off his high horse by some light that he couldn't figure out. He said it was Jesus. What was that? Anyway, the no thing is Shiva. Shiva's name literally means Shiva, the no thing, the empty, the all thing. So we have a small get together. We used to do it twice a week. Now I'm just doing it Sundays. And one of the guys on there is an American guy who owns a business. God forbid it's an evil business. He makes aerosol, the cap on the top of aerosol cans. That's his family business. Eddie's awesome. Now he's caught up in family stuff, right? Because it's a big money and he loves his grandpa and they had multi-million dollars and, the normal shit, normal stuff. He's a beautiful man. But 15 years ago, stuff started happening to him. What he had to do to heal himself, though, his girlfriend's playing the crystal balls. I do that. I went on a tour of America probably 15 years ago where the big hit of the tour was my big crystal ball. Right? Everyone went, oh, that's a cool bowl. Great. And I'm not making fun of any of that. I've got a Tibetan bowl right here. And then this is a joke, but anyway, that's Macho the Sperm. This is a cartoon character we did. But so in the middle, which people don't get, if they're spiritual, they don't get it, right? And then they have the holy mandalas. Look, he's not totally creepy. All right, I get it. And I have the holy Tibetan fucking UFOs. Ding,
Whoa.
ding, 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 ding. And then I have a golf ball with $100 bill in it. Oh, that's so weird. Why do you have it in the holy Tibetan bowl? Because it's all God. Going for 20 years and sitting in the frozen ice sheets in the Himalayas. Yes, beautiful. But at this time on Earth, all traditions are evolving, including Hopi. Don't worship the Hopi. Don't worship the Amazonian shaman. If you find good ones, yes, learn from them. They'll be your friend. They'll be your master, your mentor. But most of them are going to steal your fucking money and get you to bring your friends down there for $3 grand a pop, and they're going to fuck your girlfriends. I thought they were all holy. I used to love when we would have people come. The first ayahuasca place I went to was in Iquitos, Peru, which is a rubber town. They used to have make rubber from trees because they couldn't make synthetic rubber like back when Henry Ford started. So you had to grow it in the Amazon and I guess where else, in Bali or something, I forget. So this town has no roads to it. 300, 500,000 people, there's no roads. Anyway, so outside of that town is a retreat center for ayahuasca. Powerful. And when you'd arrive, the Western newbies like us, right, gringos, there'd be beautiful Maloka. There's a lake. I'm like, I ain't going swimming in that shit. That looks brown and murky. I don't know what creatures, you know what I'm saying? Just me at the time. Other guys are like flipping off the dock and shit. I'm like, nah, I'm not doing it today. Not while I'm doing ayahuasca, because I'm sure I'll manifest some shit. I wouldn't even walk alone in the forest because I knew that, because I see things lately. I didn't when growing up, but the spirit world is real. And I was like, no, I need someone with me who's really grounded so the trees don't get up and walk around on me. Okay? Like if they start pulling their roots out of the ground, it's going to freak me out. Which is true, by the way. But when people would arrive, there'd be a chicken coop looking thing behind the dining hall and where the kitchen was, where they had guinea pigs, beautiful little funny furry guinea pigs. And the girls would go, oh, they're so cute. And eventually someone would tell her, that's your lunch. You'll be eating them. Oh. So that bullshit fucking Western happy shit, no. And by the way, I'm not against being a vegetarian. I still am mostly. But eventually, I mean, recently I had a Royale with cheese at the Tap Kitchen bar. I could only eat a quarter of it because that's what my body's telling me. Because I've been through all that. This is 35 years later, you get it? And so, but all that thinking, we're all going to go vegan overnight. No. You will gradually shift. Maybe less raw meat, maybe less bacon to start, if that's where you're headed. Or get conscious and you can eat anything. If you're conscious, big if. Does it help you? Yes. Diet has a huge impact. But more than the food is what's in your heart and your electromagnetic spiritual being going up and down your spinal column. Jesus says that. Don't get all stuck on diet. Worry more about the shit you're saying out of your mouth. I'm paraphrasing, right? Remember? Just
Yeah.
don't worry so much about what you eat, but more what goes into your mouth. Worry more about, oh, have you seen what Linda's doing? You know, more of that gossip shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, right there's a moment of no thing. Feel it? It's totally wrong. There! No. It's where God tries to get in.
It's what you could say, allow the Tao.
Allow the no thing, which is the Tao, and the everything. And sometimes that's fucking digging ditches and building buildings and, you know, working your sweat 8 hours a day in the fucking ground. And sometimes that being like the wolf retreating to your cave for months at a time. I'm feeling to say something about if you're not being super sexual at this time on earth, don't judge yourself. Or if you're being super sexual at this time, don't judge yourself. There's a right time for all those things. It's a right time for everything under heaven and in hell. It's the right time for everything in heaven and hell. If you want to become an integrated being, if you want to be a maybe fourth dimensional heaven being, but you can't go any further unless you start integrating all your being. That's my opinion, Colonel. That's what I'm being told, shown, my own journey.
Yeah.
You need all of it. You need all the chakras to be allowed to be the knights of the round table. Remember they were all different colors? Why is Merlin doing that? And why are they all equal?
Right.
What's that about? What's the Holy Grail really? Let's get Michael Tsarian on here. He'll fucking talk to us for 2 hours about that stuff. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All the teachings. So your own personal journey, you are a perfect access point to personal Christhood. Is that too much? To real human awakening? How's that? Do you know what I mean? It's the same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I get the
We're,
point, right? Like I don't judge your words. It doesn't
yeah.
matter to me. You can say literally whatever you want. I'm still going to get the context. I'm still going
Yeah.
to, like you said, filter through it through my own conscience.
Exactly. And to people that may eventually watch this, I'm speaking for them too. You know?
Right.
Yeah, both. Yeah. So I love my journey, and I recommend you, anyone listening to this, do your own journey. If you feel called to go to the school board and speak your truth, damn it, you know, whatever, great. That's holy work. If you want to tell truth on YouTube, great. But if you neglect, like, can I name some names here? Is that wrong? But I like Timcasts. I watch it occasionally, but it's all fucking this shit and a
That's true.
little bit of, oh yeah, you got to heal yourself. But mostly it's the fucking cabal and how fucking evil they are and all this shit. And every day I'm finding more, you know.
Yeah.
That's fine if that's his job, perfect. But if you get stuck in that only, you're gonna end up in this.
Consumerism, materialism,
Yeah.
the physical
Or
world. Yeah.
yeah, or blaming Klaus Schwab and the Pope or whatever.
Yeah.
Klaus Schwab and the Pope are having secret orgies
I
together.
don't even
Yeah,
know these
okay.
people.
Yeah, yeah. But speaking of being in the world, then, like you're saying, both inner work and outer work, there's still a papacy on this planet with 1.5 billion Catholics. That might be really far removed from you. But obviously, there's still a chunk of Americans that are caught up in politics, right?
Yeah.
But I also understand totally removing ourselves, like the rainbow people. You know, oh no, it's just gonna. And of course, they'll steal your stuff because they're doing so much fucking pot, and they're not getting any money. And when you bring any stuff, they'll steal. And they go, no, we're all sharing, man. We didn't ask my permission. You're crossing boundaries. If I was part of that, fine, but I didn't agree to that. I'm going to punch you in the fucking face. You know? So the hippie thing didn't work. It did work. It's beautiful. Make love, not war. How can you argue with that? You can't. But when they went off on the LSD trips and said, let's go create this Garden of Eden, going up the country, right? We're going to get out of town, like Peter Coyote. The hippies were gone by the time the Summer of Love, 67 happened. I know that's before your time. But they weren't able to be real to heal, though. You're fucking my girlfriend. Oh, it's okay, man. No, it's not. You got all kinds of shit you're not being honest about. And so it goes bad.
Yeah.
Because what? Again, you're not getting real to heal. Getting real to heal means getting vulnerable. Become ye as little children. What does that look like? You will not enter the. I'm using Jesus because he's as true as anybody else, of course, not the churchism shit. Although that's good stuff too, occasionally, you know. But he says, unless you will not enter the kingdom of heaven, of innocence, beyond the fruit of knowledge of good and evil, unless what? You become as what? Fauci? No. Unless you become as little children, which is what? Not stupid, not naive, but conscious innocence. That's the real evolution, re-evolution. Otherwise, you're going to be doomed if you're fighting against the old shit. If you're just going, okay, that sucks, I get it, I don't want to play that way, I'm going to get my own thing going, you know, and we're going to, like Aubrey Marcus is a guy I watched a little bit. He annoys me. Everybody annoys me at times, if we're honest, right? I annoy people, I'm sure. I know I do. I just blocked somebody on Facebook yesterday. Because I just re-engaged with that because there's a bunch of good people that I had a whole bunch of things we used to do and I'm starting again. But Aubrey Marcus, blah, blah, ayahuasca, I can't remember. It doesn't matter. But yes, he's creating a festival up in Idaho this summer, which is not about what's fucking wrong with the world, but what can we do to create the world we want? Right?
Yeah.
Tell the truth about the evil shit. Child pornography, fucking drinking adrenochrome, you know, satanic fucking rituals, fucking off-world fucking ETs and greys and reptilians. Yes, fine. And don't be dumb about that. Learn to discern. Because there's a bunch of people out there channeling off-world shit that's not healthy. And they come in as saviors. We're from such and such a star system. Yes, may be true. But they may not have good intent, or they may be programmed themselves. Just because you can create a 4D starship that jumps in space-time does not mean that you're enlightened or awake or expanded.
Yeah.
Learn to discern is one of the little sayings I have on one of my t-shirts. That's key for humans right now, or you're going to get hooked by whatever the shit's floating around. You can go into hyper conspiracy. I've got a guy I'm working with right now who was so fucking angry when 9/11 happened back then. It's like 11 years ago, right? That he was going to join up and go fight the evil fucking whatever, right? People that he thought did it. Now he realizes that's bullshit. I have to change myself. But for a while there, he believed in something called -48, which is some people that are out of the Q movement thing, where they literally are believing that JFK is going to remanifest in Daily Plaza like about 2 months ago. JFK Jr. and JFK Sr. they've been alive this whole time, and they're going to remanifest and put America back on track along with Trump and the Q people. I know I'm making fun during this thing. I know
Yeah,
I am.
well, you're right. I mean,
Yeah,
they're putting all their faith in these external things that they
yeah,
can't personally connect with. So,
yeah.
like, there are external things you can connect with, such as you're saying all these different religious figures, at least all the historic ones that even the tribes followed. They didn't necessarily read books to understand them. You know, I found you through natural religion, so we can talk a whole bunch about that, I'm sure. But the whole idea is that you connect with nature, which is directly that source connected with God, or essentially it's connected to all of what you may say is real gods, but you are within that nature. You're a part of it. So you
We
can
are
understand it best.
totally, if we don't get caught in superstition. Because most of the native tribes, most of the history, whether it's in Africa or the Inca are the holiest tribe, some people say, in South America. They were the sun. The sun, you can't fake the sun. The sun is the sun. You can't go, let's put a filter on it. No, it is what it is. Well, I don't believe in the sun. Okay, you're a lunatic. What, you believe in the moon, which is probably artificial, but that's all another story. So, yeah, so even the Inca, the Hopi, all the tribes all over, Siberian shamans, that's the real deal. But a lot of times, a lot of them got sucked into power
Mm,
because the rest of their tribe would worship them as the magic, mystic person.
mm,
And they go, sure, I'll take advantage of my power.
yeah.
So there's no buy automatic for the Hopi shaman or the Inca shaman or the African shaman. Are you kidding me? The fucking black magic shit that goes on with Santeria, most of the bad shit, part of it. Some of it's good, but most of it's not good. Learn to discern. It's not all of a sudden. My upbringing sucked. We're white privileged people, and oh, he's a shaman. It's all good. No, he's gonna fuck you too and steal your money too. There's really good white people shamans. I have good intent. I will not fuck you over. Let me feel that. No, not unless you need it. No, you know what I'm saying? I've been had good intent. That's why I've been taken care of my whole life. If I tell how I live, people are like, "Oh my God, you're fucking delusional." Really? I have guitars, I have cars, we have a house, we have money, we have silver, we got gold, crypto. Because I asked God to help me. Because I'm humble enough to know I don't know it all. And I can learn. As soon as you're fucking arrogant and think, oh, my shit don't stink, or you're all a bunch of stupid mud people to the masses, which may be true, but watch Sadhguru, he's not arrogant about it. He's sweet about it, right? He's funny, he's playful. Even when they try to shove the Bible down his throat at JFK. Right? I don't know if you saw him talk about that. Because he's dressed like, the American wouldn't know. The average American. You go, I study the Bible and learn to pray to Jesus. They have no clue. That's how fucking dumb most humans are on the planet, of course. What do you expect? This is not an enlightened planet. This is a fucked up, fallen human race planet that's going through paroxysms. Some people are waking up and it sucks. It's like going through heroin detox for just about everybody on the planet right now, and me included. But that's what I came for. I'm not here to establish a nice little looking package and, act holy and I know everything. I can do that. Watch my videos, they're very nice. They're
No.
non-confrontational. But, so at this time it's going to get realer on earth. Now God is so loving that you're not going to get overloaded. You're going to feel overloaded. In some of the prophecies of people, 1,000 in Bible, I guess the Bible says 1,000 to my left and 10,000 to my right are going to fall by the wayside. Yeah, that's probably coming. And so there's multiple things going on right now. Got a friend who's building a community just south of Salt Lake. Young guy. He's probably, I don't think he's 30 yet. And they got 25 people, and they got, they're building their own community. And he drove down here and gave me a sword because Spirit told him to give this to Tobias.
Hmm.
Other lifetimes of me being fucking Viking pirate and shit like that. You know what I mean? Nothing wrong with it. It's all good. All the things cleaning out right now. Or if you're here to progress, all our paths are not going to be exactly the same. Perfecto. There's no cookie cutter souls. There's a similarity clump sometimes. But we're not all made the same. We're not the fucking Chinese army. We're not.
Right.
And you can't do that.
You can try to program people like that, but that's just not the way things naturally are.
It's going to come apart. China's going to go through its shit. Now, this is so fucking wrong to say. Orientals tend to be more clusterfucky than Americans. They're afraid, like the Japanese saying, it's the nail that sticks out that gets the hammer, right? They have proverbs about this shit. Swedes do it too. They have a thing about don't make yourself important. That's like considered gauche, really ugly. It's only Americans that do ugly American shit. That's why Trump is a joke to a lot of the planet, because he's such a fucking ugly American from one point of view. It's a brash fucking know-it-all builder from Queens. Of course he's going to trigger people. And he's beautiful. I love him.
Mm-hmm.
I find no fault with him. I love his courage.
You
I
got to
don't know if
find
he's
that
been.
within everyone, the
Yeah.
beauty.
Yes. And that's where I've always played. And I've been through it myself. I grew up in Sweden. No one owns a gun. That's completely no. Unless you're a hunter. And you have to license 14 different licenses to be allowed to have a rifle. Here in Arizona, you want a gun? Yeah, no fucking problem, dude. You can carry it around. I got a small Glockmeister. I haven't shot it yet. Because part of me, I don't fucking care. But I got it. It's got 12 bullets in it. And you can hide it in your waistband. I'll never have to use it, knock on wood. But I won't mind doing it. So stop judging gun people that are into guns. Stay the fuck out of people's business. Let them do whatever the fuck they want.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they don't come in and bother your kid or teach their shit to your kid that you don't like. Live and let live.
Right.
Yeah.
Some people consider the Tao to be, I've seen references online saying it's an anarchist book. I'm like, this thing is older than most books out there, and it's considered anarchist just because it's saying that, a government, unlike anything we've ever seen, is supposed to not exist. Like, you're not even supposed to see it.
Yeah. That's the first book that touched my spirit, by the way.
Mm.
I saw they had like a 25th anniversary edition. It was some French guy or two people. They made all these beautiful pictures. It's a big book on the Tao. That was the first spiritual book I ever encountered as a freshman in college.
I liked how simple it was worded. It was really easy for me to understand. So many people are like, read this text, and I'm like, this one really appealed to me because of the simplicity of it. And not
Beautiful.
only that, but it teaches that.
Love that.
Yeah.
Lao Tzu is. I'm debating whether I should tell you the next thing to the world here. But no, I've met Lao Tzu a bunch of times. They're all real. These aren't made up mythical characters. He exists now. A friend of mine and we used to do seminars together, and we still will get together. For about a year and a half, we were getting together once a week because I was going through major healing detox, galactic shit. You understand? Don't judge people if they're sick, going through sicknesses, because some souls are here on super detox programs. Others are here on, I'm just going to Tahiti back in the 1500s, and I just want to fuck and eat fish and make love and just have a good time and, play music and, yeah. Nako, what's his name? Nako, the medicine people guy. Do you know that guy?
No.
He's controversial. He's really cool, but he looks like a Pacific Islander, kind of small, looks native and Pacific Islander, but he got in huge fucking trouble because he was fucking around with multiple women. All the women got all fucking uptight about it. Yeah? What did you expect? I mean, it's probably being honest about it. You're still fucking him. That's your fuck. I'm being harsh here, but the real deal is sex is going to assert itself. Shiva's not shocked. Shiva, are you shocked that men get hard and masturbate and watch porn? No? Okay. It's all right, folks. Now, if you got a sex addiction and you don't know how to be conscious with it, yeah, it can get you in trouble with fucking entities. So you got to be careful. And some of it's succubus crapola. Like Eastern LA porn, I'm like, usually like, that woman is fucking possessed. And then there's other amateur porn, that's awesome. And some sex stars, and some of them are fucked up, but you got to learn to discern. I'm going to turn into a fucking Baptist minister in a second. You got to learn to discern to be able to tell.
Yeah.
And it varies during the times in your life and in your soul's evolution. For some people, you need to fucking have one partner because you can't control your sex because you're not conscious enough to feel the other energies. And you're going to open portals to shit that you're not ready to handle. And other people, monogamy will be like fucking throttling them. But you got to learn to discern when and who and what and where.
Yeah.
I'm ready to play with multiple partners. I tried it when I was married, probably 28 years old, one of my best friends from high school. And I said, let's do it together. Let's get on. I'm the one, that's my wife, and I don't fucking care. I love Ray. I love her. I'm not into men, but I'm okay with us letting him and her enjoy each other together, and me, whatever. It's fine. We tried it. All kinds of shit got triggered in us. If you're being real. Now, if you're drinking or you're a swinger and you've suppressed all that shit, you're going to play in sexual disease land. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I like how you're very outspoken about all this, and not a lot of people are willing to address a lot of these topics, or at least just mention them, to say the least. And oh, it's too touchy. I mean, like I said, I don't think it's a big deal. I mean, you're just telling people to be conscious, which is, how is that an issue? It's like, if you just look at the root to what you're saying, regardless of all the trigger terms that people will get all stuck on.
Right.
If they get to the root of what you're saying like, be conscious of your environment. You can make something work, and there's a time and place for everything, as I like to say.
Exactly. And so it didn't work for us. We tried it. My ex-wife, who's now back to like Christianity, which is fine, real for her, safe, good. And she has real experiences with Jesus. So do I. See, theory spirituality is theory. Reading textbooks, going, that's true, and you can feel it's true. That's really cool. But doing it is different than even knowing that it's true. It's the difference between lab work and Nikola Tesla sitting there. He knows he's intuiting it. He works it out in his mind. Edison had to sweat and toil. Innovation is 999 failures and one success. That's fucking slavery. That's in sweat and toil shalt thou earn thy bread. And it turned out that way. He was apparently a piece of shit. He electrocuted elephants. You can find the movie. Trent Reznor shows the video from Edison electrocuting an old circus elephant, big old African bull, It sends so much electricity through him, his legs go stiff, and fucking smoke starts coming off the elephant's body. Is that a loving human that would do that shit? No, he's a piece of fucking, probably programmed religious piece of shit, or at least that part of him.
Yeah.
I love how in Edison, New Jersey now, somebody told me, a client recently told me, or friends a couple of years ago told me, they're defacing Edison's statue because they know he was a piece of shit. Tesla got totally suppressed at the time, trying to give free energy to the world. Tesla would just sit instead of 1,000 experiments of sweating and toiling and yelling at assistants. Ah, that's Edison. Tesla would sit and feel it, and he would travel in wherever his mind was, and he would try it all out. And then when he's done with it in his mind, he would draw one blueprint, and it would work. Which do you prefer? Sweat and toil? Strife? Wars? Fighting? Ukraine? Hatred? Hillary versus Trump? Evil Putin? Let's make him out to be the boogeyman. Humans said, you like being programmed into this? That's probably what's going to happen mostly on Earth. But for a bunch of us, those are the people I work with. You're going to come out of this being stuck in the bipolar universe. And you'll be much more effective in being able to hold space and literally emanate healing energy to other people. This is an
Great.
awesome time to be alive on Earth.
Thank you. Thank you so
You're
much
welcome.
for sharing everything. We've hit about an hour and 30 minutes, and I appreciate
We're
the
good.
time. And, if is there any other final comments, anything you would like to say for the audience? I really enjoyed this conversation. I like how you covered a lot of different topics.
Just what I said. This is an awesome time to be alive on Earth. Some of the methods that Spirit has shown me, you can find on my website if you're drawn to them. I also am doing a limited amount of personal sessions. I'm glad to do that if you're on the real spiritual path. If you want to be right about shit, nah, don't come to me because you're not going to like me. I work with it, but at some point we're going to make you stop being such a judgmental fucking bastard or bitch. I'm joking, but not really. And I know I'm a little bit harsh here, or pretty direct and a little animated about it. But that's what we're going to need. So it's a great time to be alive on Earth. It's going to suck. You may want to kill yourself several more times if you haven't already felt that. Or, and you maybe have some more shocks coming to the system, of course. And you're going to grow more and more liquid and expanded, and you're going to enjoy the birds, literally have the trees talk to you. You're going to enjoy real spirit, which is different than theory.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Tobias Lars. And I recommend everybody checks out your work. Your website is TobiasLars.com. So that's TobiasLars.com. And of course, you have a bunch of things going on there. They can find out a bunch of links and courses, and they can even check out your shirt store. Great stuff. Keep it up. I know that you take breaks, as you must, so you should. And I encourage you, just keep being you, man. And honestly, keep up just being you. That's the most important part, because what will come will come. If there's content that needs to be produced, so it shall come. I really encourage and thank you for coming on this platform and sharing your thoughts with everybody. And so if anybody wants to see a lot more speakers like this, go to nita.one/summit, nita.one/summit. This is the end of Slavery Summit. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.